Uh, Today, I will show you using Python how to generate Piet Mondrian paintings, fake Piet Mondrian paintings. For those who do not know the Dutch painter Piet Mondrian, well, you can read some information in Wikipedia. And here I have produced or I have added an image of one of his famous painting, and we are going to learn using the library called Mondrian-maker. We are going to learn how to redo a fake Mondrian painting. So basically, you can, have a look at the description of that Python package called Mondrian Maker. I provided a link here, and if you click on that, you will arrive to something like that. Okay, so it gives you some information about what you can do. It shows you how to install the library. And it gives you some information, basically what to code in order to produce something which will look like that, okay, like the original painting of Piet Mondrian. Uh, so you can see that I'm on GitHub. GitHub is a repository of zillions of libraries. So every time I use a specific library, most likely it will be described somewhere on GitHub, and you can always get information on exactly how to install it, how to produce what we want to produce, okay? And so let me go back here. I will follow exactly the same instruction as you can see here. Like they say, well, you have to install the library into your environment. Here I'm working with Google Colab. So you will always see every time we install a library in Google Colab, you will always see an exclamation point and then pip install Mondrian Maker. So I'm gonna run this. Um, and you will see that it's downloading the library per se. And a bit later on, I will show you where on Google Colab environment it is installed. I would like to remind you that when you work within Google Colab, you work within the cloud. So it's not installed on your computer. It's installed into your Google Colab environment or cloud space. And I will show you exactly where it is installed. Okay. But first of all, I would like to show you how easy it is actually to use a library which are actually code lines of code that have been provided or coded by somebody else, and you just use those code lines in order to produce whatever you want. Okay, so first we need to import. Okay, when you install a library, you still need to import it and say, well, now I want to work with this library. And there are always different ways to import things. But, like this line here, if I run on that, well, now it's imported. And you can see that I have basically followed this instruction. That's the same instruction that you see here. I have followed this. And it says basically that you import a library Mondrian Maker, and specifically you are going to import the module Mondrian. And I will show you again a bit later on where exactly all this is installed on your Google Colab. Okay, so you import the module, the module Mondrian, and from the library Mondrian Maker. And then those two lines here will produce the fake painting. Okay. Basically, what you see here. Okay, let me run that first. Okay. You see how easy it is. Okay, you have created your first fake Piet Mondrian. And again, those two lines here, I simply took them from the description that you see here. Okay. And basically, the first line here, basically, this is, I will come back to that now. I know that you don't have uh, uh, basics in programming, so probably you may be lost and you may tell me, well, I don't know what I'm doing. But progressively, as we use other libraries, you will see it's always the same kind of mechanics which is involved. So basically here in the very first line, we create an object that I call M1. I could have called it Patrick or anything else. So that's the name that I give, M1. And we create this object using what is called a class. And I will show you that later on in the code per se, where it is in the original code lines that have been written by the author of the library. So basically, we call a class called Mondrian, and basically that class is some kind of think of it as a template or a blueprint for creating objects which are objects who have specific attributes and specific method. Okay, and then here from that object that you just created through this first line, you basically call or apply a method, and the method here is called make_Mondrian. And so, some argument have been passed to that method, and in particular the title. Okay, so now I understand that if you have never done any uh, uh, programming before, and that you may be lost and you don't really understand that, but as we progress in the course, you will see that it's always the same kind of code lines that come back. Okay. And this is basically in Python, M1 is called an object. Actually, everything is an object in Python. And I will show you a little bit more about object-oriented programming later on. So basically, like we have created a first object using this class called Mondrian, and then on that object we applied, or we call a specific method, and the method is again a series of code lines that have been coded for you. And basically, by doing that, we have been able to produce our first fake Piet Mondrian. And of course, you can change the name of the title here. And for example, you can add information about your group and give me that information here, or add that information in the title. And if you want to produce another one, well, you can create a second object, M2, and apply again the method make Mondrian. And you will get your second object, okay, or your second fake Mondrian. Let me do it. And you see it's not the same, okay? But you can create a third one here if you want. I can copy, Control C, Control V, and I can create a third object, which basically will be my Piet Mondrian fake painting. And if I click on that, I'm gonna get another Piet Mondrian painting. Um, maybe one caveat or one thing that I would like to mention is that actually, even if I follow strictly the way to import the library and to write those code lines according to the description that you get here, there are actually different ways to import the library. And here I have written some of the ways you could import the libraries and create your object. In this one here, it's very similar to what we have done with Matplotlib. And there is another way here. As well, I don't try to test that in within the Google, within the notebook, because I don't want to make this lesson too long, but I mean, you could do that as well. You can save the picture that you have produced, so all you need to do is to right click and save image as we did in the previous notebook for saving an image produced through Matplotlib. So you can save them. And one exercise that I ask you to do is simply to redo your first fake Mondrian painting, and add your group number in the title and save it on your computer. So when you save as, it will be saved immediately into the download directory of your computer. And you will upload that into Brightspace. I will show you the direction to how to do that. So, well, of course, these look a bit magical, and we could ask, well, how is it really produced? And if we go back to the repository, maybe I can show you this. I don't want to go too far into that. But I mean, if we go into the repository of that Mondrian-maker library, you see this folder here. And if I click on that folder, you see two Python scripts. And if I click on this one here, you are going to see a series of code lines. And actually, those are the code lines that have produced the Mondrian painting that we have just done. And you can see here that there is something called class Mondrian. And so at some point in time, we have called that class in the yeah. Let me see. We have called this thing here to create an object. So this is based on those code lines that you see here, which construct a class called Mondrian, and that class will help you or will permit to create a series of objects that have all the same attributes, or that have attributes on which we can call different functions. And we have called as well this function make Mondrian with the title that we have introduced. Yeah. So basically, this line here, we have called that here the make Mondrian. Okay, so again, I understand that at some point, at this stage, you don't understand any of this, okay? But my point is to say that, well, when we write this, actually, we are using or we are calling line codes that have been coded for us, okay? So it means that we don't need to reinvent the world, actually. We don't need to code those lines of code by ourselves. And maybe what I would like to show you as well is that when we install the library through this first line here, pip install Mondrian-maker, We may ask, because you don't really know Google Colab at this stage, and you may wonder, well, where is it installed, this library? Okay, so the pip install, it's a bit like when you want to install a new software in your computer. You follow a specific procedure. Here, the procedure is very simple. You have just to put an exclamation mark and then pip, and then this thing here, okay? And again, I didn't invent that line of code, okay? It's given here, okay? If I go back here, um, you see that they tell us that the author tells us, well, to install it, you need to type this, okay? And so that's what I did. The exclamation point is that it's because it's particular to Google Colab per se. You always need to add a exclamation dot in order to pip install a library. So, but okay, where is it installed in your Google Colab? Maybe you can, if you write or yeah, if you type this command here, you are going to see some information about what is installed on Google Colab. So the name of the library, the version, the home page. See, this is actually the home page of the GitHub repository that I provided to you. You can see the author email address, and you can see the location of that library that has been installed on your Google Colab space. And you can, instead of doing that, you can also write this command here. And if I write this command, you are going to see all the libraries that are installed in your Google Colab. So it's interesting to see maybe that you have many libraries that have been pre-installed in your Google Colab, and the name of and you can see here that there is a library that is called Mondrian-maker, and that it has been pip installed. So we know that we have succeeded in installing this library. But we can also see, for example, in the previous tutorial, I told you that we are going to use a library called matplotlib. And you can see matplotlib is here. But it's not pip install. And if you go back to the previous tutorial, you will see that matplotlib, I never told you we have to install the library. And this is because matplotlib is pre-installed into your Google Colab space. So we don't need to install it. We still need to import it. And I have explained that in the previous tutorial, but we didn't need to install it. But for Mondrian-maker, it's not part of the library that have been pre-installed into your Google Colab environment. So you need to install it. And now let me show you, okay, if you see an address here, okay, which tells you, well, that library has been installed on that part, okay? So we can go here and try to see where is the part, okay? So it tells you that you need, if you go here, okay, you are going to see a series of folders. And you want to go to USR because that's USR. So let's click on USR. Let's click on local. Now let's click on lib and then Python 3.11 and then this package. And now if I go all the way here I will see something called um, Mondrian-maker. Yeah. Mondrian-maker. And you can go somewhere else and you will see your matplotlib library as well, okay, which has been pre-installed. So if I click on this, you see that actually I'm getting the same files as you have here on this library. So you have a folder Mondrian_maker, and you have two files here. And we have opened this file here before. And if I click on that Mondrian make, so it's the folder Mondrian_maker. And if I click on that, or double click maybe, yeah, okay. You see that now, actually, I have all those code lines that you have seen here, which are actually in that Python script called mondrian.py, okay, py for Python. So basically, when we say we are going to import, so pip install Mondrian-maker, well, it installed that library somewhere in your folders of your own space in Google Colab. Okay, and when we say, well, let's import the module Mondrian, what basically we are doing is to import this Python script. And at that stage, on that line, okay, when we try to produce the fake Mondrian, this thing here is basically the class that we are calling, okay? Here it has been constructed in this Python script, and here we are simply calling this class in order to use it. And we basically create an object. And that's a name that I give to that object, M1, which basically has specific attributes like the size, and I don't want to go into those code lines for the time being, but that object will also have some method on which we can that we can call on that object. For example, we have a method which has been defined. A method is a series of line of code, okay? And although all this is too complicated for you at this stage, okay, what you have to understand is that there is some method called make Mondrian, and this is what I have called here, make Mondrian. And then I can pass some parameters, like, I pass the title because this thing here, this function or method gave me the possibility to write a title. I could put a title and title name. So that's basically what I wanted to show you for this exercise. Somewhere, okay, again, okay, I understand that all this may be a bit mysterious, but by opening these files, I hope that you understand that actually you are not the one who are coding the lines to produce the Mondrian painting. We do not reinvent the wheel. Okay, what we do is basically to use the code lines that have been coded by somebody else in order to be able to do something very specific here to produce a fake Mondrian painting. But you can always, at some point in time, you will feel more confident and you could create your own class constructor. So instead of using a class that have been coded by somebody else, you could create your own class constructor. And you could create an object or instantiate an object using that class constructor. For example, here I have basically created a class that I call dog. And this is a bit equivalent to this. And if I run this, now on that class, I can basically create an object. And that object, we are talking about dogs. That object, I call it Milou, from Milou and Tintin Milou. Basically, this is basically a method. This is basically, it's not a method, it's the class which creates the object Milou. And this is basically the object Milou on which I apply a specific method, grid. Okay, and if I run this, you will see that it will grid me with Woof Woof Master Patrick. And I can create another or instantiate another object, and I'm gonna call it Donald. And Donald is also a dog because I'm using this class that I have defined here and construct here, class dog. And if I run this, I'm gonna get Donald who greet me by saying woof woof Master Patrick. So all this is called object-oriented programming, and this is absolutely not the object of this tutorial. All I want to show you is that, well, it looks certainly very mysterious to you when, by simply running those two code lines, I'm able to generate a Mondrian painting. And all I have, so it looks like a black box. And all I have tried to do is to give you some hints about what is behind the black box without going into too much explanation about the code line that we have seen. Okay, so now I think that you are able to produce your own fake Mondrian. And I'll let you on this.